So he's going to sign, I'm going to voice interpret, and then the interpreter will answer in sign language.
Can't hear. Can't hear.
Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dario. I am deaf, fully deaf, and I have a few questions from persons in the deaf community and myself. So kindly be patient and bear with us. There are quite a few, but I'll try to make it brief. Former students of the Irving Wilson School, where can they go to have a second chance to further their education? And what subjects can they learn?
The details of the policy cannot all be delivered here, but I want you to know that the Irving Wilson School and the former students of that school are very dear to my heart. And one of the things that we have in the policy is that we are asking for the Ministry of Educational Transformation to provide second chance classes for all of those former students, so that they too can be participating in the lifelong learning opportunities that we are providing for all students.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
There are teachers at the school who really don't sign very well. They need to be replaced with good teachers, teachers who are themselves deaf, who are more qualified to teach those deaf students. They can better relate to those students, and also have teacher assistants who are deaf. The hearing teachers who don't sign very well, when they teach the children, they will not develop very well. I encourage persons to find deaf teachers and teacher assistants so that those deaf students can really develop, because they can relate to one another. They can understand their feelings, their emotions, and so on. I encourage the Ministry of Education to consider this and to perhaps, just like we're having here, have meetings with the deaf community to see how they can improve the education system, because it all needs to change and be improved. You can listen as they express themselves and their views and choose whatever is of top importance. And then you can continue to make changes in relation to other areas as time goes on.
The policy also discusses the staffing of the school for the deaf, the Irving Wilson School, with staff that is qualified to deliver the curriculum with the American Sign Language that is global, universally understood, so that the students can benefit from a quality education that will assist them in moving into other areas of study and other areas of endeavor. They will not be left out where that is concerned.
Okay, I wish to add, here in Barbados, we use the deaf community uses Bajan Sign Language as well as American Sign Language, because among the deaf themselves, they will develop their own variation of the sign language. There is no one sign language for all deaf persons in the world. There are many different sign languages. For example, she would use PSL, I use Bajan Sign Language. I can also communicate in French Sign Language. I can adapt so that I may be able to help whoever is my audience. At the Teachers Training College, they must find deaf teachers, they must put in place deaf teachers to teach sign language classes, not only hearing people to teach sign language, and then they sign the wrong things, teach the wrong things. I encourage you find persons who grew up in the deaf community, who have interacted with the deaf, have traveled to various islands and places, and who really know deaf culture to help people who are hearing to be enlightened and realize the different world, the deaf world, level 1, level 2, level 3 of learning. And if they want to work as a teacher at the Irving Wilson School, application paper, what level? Level 1, no. Level 2, no. They should have like a level 5 or up. And then be put in place to really help the students to advance.
Dario, I know that this came up also when we had the stakeholder interview meeting with the Barbados Horizon Deaf Charity, and we want to, excuse me, we want to assure you that we are aware, excuse me, we are aware that there are variations in sign language and so on between territories and between countries, but we want to standardize that American Sign Language is what is to be the language of instruction for the deaf here, so that there's at least a standard rather than making up as you go along, because that is not sustainable. That is not sustainable even in the international arena. So we want to ensure that there is a standard language of instruction. There is training that needs to happen for the staff and the potential staff of the Irving Wilson School. And I want to let you also know that Dr. Joan Spencer Hernandez also made the point when she was developing the regional model for the policy framework in the Caribbean. She also made recommendation for there to be teachers with disabilities. That includes teachers who are blind and teachers who are deaf. Currently, we don't have a deaf teacher at the Irving Wilson School, but I know that for in the unit for the blind, there is a she comes once a week. Most Honorable Carrie Ann Eiffel, she works with the students in the blind unit there. But we need to encompass more persons who are able to deliver that curriculum. They may have disabilities, but that should not disqualify them if they have reached or attained the qualification level to be able to work in the schools for those children who may have those sensory issues. And they want to see a role model. They want to see that it is going somewhere. What happens is that many of our deaf students and our past deaf students are now disaffected because they don't see any students who are past students of the Irving Wilson School rising. Social mobility seems to have stopped for those persons who are deaf, and it is really disheartening. So they have withdrawn and they move among their own circles, but we want to include all students, all citizens, because the end result must be both economic and social enfranchisement, breaking down those barriers, allowing all citizens to participate fully in our educational system and in our society, in our economy, because this makes economic sense.
Okay, thank you for your answer. I just have two final questions.
Quickly.
So I read the PDF from Skills for the Future. After children complete their learning at a remote school, perhaps around age 18, but I don't agree with finishing at age 21. I think age 18 is better. After completing school, they need more education, perhaps in a mainstream setting. They can learn skills, but it is a challenge for the deaf because in a mainstream setting, there may be hearing disabled persons, and then there's the deaf students, and they're being taught, and they may feel alone because they're not able to communicate with the others. I think it is best that we have the hearing disabled in one area, but then the deaf in another, where they can learn skills like hairdressing, photography, filming, cooking, and so on. A group of deaf being trained. You can find a person who can teach them well, someone who knows sign language or a good sign language interpreter to be with the teacher so that they can develop skills. That would be better than if they are integrated with hearing disabled children, because they have had experiences after completing the 11 plus, going to mainstream schools with mostly hearing people and just like one deaf person, and it was quite a struggle. But if we can have a group of deaf persons that can support each other, that would be good. I encourage you to think about that. Find a room and a teacher who has the heart to really care for and support the deaf and strongly support them, so that the deaf have someone to look up to and everyone feels uplifted and they can develop skills and look forward to a fruitful future.
Thank you for that recommendation. Heartily appreciate it.
We have two others, and the time is coming close to 8.
Okay, that's fine. I'm finished.
That's fine.
Thank you so much for your answer.
And thank you
Thank
for
you very
coming
much.
forward, Dario. We appreciate it.
Before